Now we'll talk about where to live in retirement. I think that this is an interesting module in the course, and I hope you think so too. I have never lived abroad, and so I rely on some of my YouTube friends to help us explore living in another country and the pros and cons of that. If that has never appealed to you, feel free to skip those lessons. We'll talk about living in a 55-plus retirement community. As much as people have predisposed ideas about doing that, I encourage you to listen to that lesson with an open mind and without filters influenced by other people's opinions. It might not be for you, but you will learn something that might help someone else. We will talk about the joy of decluttering and preparing to downsize and how to ease those life transitions that require moving to a new place. My personal woo-woo quotient might be much higher than yours, but I will talk about an out-of-the-box idea that I actually used called astrocartography. It uses your personal astrology to help you define the best places in the world. If that doesn't sound like something you want to learn about, feel free to skip that lesson. The important thing I do want you to think about is this: you are in a chapter of your life that is such an exciting time where you can explore living in a whole new way. And there may be more than one transition during retirement because longevity continues to increase and your needs and your desires might change over time. This topic of what we want our home situation to be seems very top of mind now because so many people underwent a major reassessment of their living spaces as they lived through the pandemic. I listened to so many podcasts and read articles of people talking about reconsidering their living situations. It seems that our criteria for home life are changing. Many families during the pandemic felt crammed in a home with everyone vying for space to go to school and work. We all realize that our space matters. Some people completely rethought work and leisure and reprioritized what's important. Many became digital nomads and now live far away from their former physical offices. According to a University of Vermont study, 59% said that the pandemic taught them that easy access to being out in nature is integral to their well-being. At the same time, our reliance on technology and the internet seems to be paramount. And so broadband access nearly always tops the list of considerations these days. So we seem to all want flexible space, calm environments, access to nature, a definite sense of community, but also 21st century infrastructure. Most retirees I've interviewed seem to gravitate to a basic list of criteria: a comparatively low cost of living, great access to nature and recreation, relative ease of getting around, quality healthcare systems, and a strong sense of community. All of these same things make a place optimal for remote work, too. We talked about the implications of longevity, and there are implications that impact housing. By 2030, 1 in 5 people in the United States will be age 65 or over. And by 2035, older adults are projected to outnumber children for the first time ever. The nation's housing stock doesn't fit the realities of a changing America. I've linked an interesting article that's filled with infographic ideas, solutions, photographs, floor plans from the National Building Museum exhibition of the same name, Making Room: Housing for a Changing America, which is a rallying cry for a wider menu of housing options. One of the main reasons retired people feel so daunted by the idea of relocating is just the logistics of getting rid of decades worth of stuff and physically moving to a new place. And so we'll talk about that too. I'll tell you my own story about finding where to live post-retirement in the lessons of this module. If you would have told me 8 years ago that I would be living in California, I would have been very surprised. When I retired, we lived in a suburb of Columbus, Ohio. We moved there from New York for my last work assignment. It was a thriving, growing, vibrant community, and at first, we thought we might just stay there. We were on not-for-profit boards there, we loved our neighbors, we loved our home. But over time, we realized we could live anywhere. We didn't have any family there, and slogging through another winter of polar vortex just didn't sound appealing. I had a real desire to live in the West, to be able to hike and see mountains and have the ability to get outside every single day for fresh air. So I started lobbying to move west. My husband, Rich, was not easily swayed. Now, he remembers this story a little bit differently, but he isn't the course creator, so this is my stage. We've been together for well over 40 years, and we have moved 18 times, so I know his pattern. At first, he stubbornly refused to even consider moving, but I was patient. I kept dropping hints, leaving articles on his desk, and every time he complained about the cold, I would say, You know, you're right. It's freezing here. We could live in a completely different climate. We could live anywhere. I also know what kinds of arguments sway him. He likes facts and figures. So after we started talking about the idea of escaping part of winter and just spending a month or two in the Southwest and on the West Coast, I created a spreadsheet. I've included it if you want to see it. I knew my subtle and not so subtle attempts were working when I overheard him on the phone with a friend, and I heard him say, you know, I've been thinking we could actually live anywhere. So we rented a vacation home in the Palm Springs area of California. We used that as a base to explore a number of places in the West. That was the best February of my life. Long story short, we live in that area now in Indian Wells, California, and I've never imagined Rich could be so happy. I will tell you more about how we decluttered, how easy our move was, and the community we chose as we go through the rest of these lessons. So open your mind and let the possibilities help you dream. And please keep me posted about your own story and what you are learning. Your insights might pave the way to inspire someone else.